Hello, and we are back. So, people always say when you get time, just fear women. So, today we are back in Uganda. So, we are gonna start from the top. We are back again in Uganda. The country. That's the map. That's the map. That's the map. And we have quite a controversial issue. So let's get into it without wasting much of the time.
By dawn, individuals claiming to be children of the late Kadongo Kamusinga Paul Job Kafero had gathered at police headquarters in Naguru, eager to receive the news of the DNA tests intended to establish his biological heirs and bring to an end a decades-long family dispute. The DNA exercise followed a court order to exhume Kafero's remains from his burial site in Buikwe district. Forensic experts collected samples from his bones hair to aid the analysis. According to police forensic experts and government analysts, DNA samples.
So, before we go a bit deeper, this one is the story of Paul Job Kafero. He was a singer and he passed on in 2007. He was still very young. He was 36 during the time he passed on. So what happened is after his death, a lot of children came forward claiming that he was their biological father. So there was a dispute for a very, very long time. Is it for 23 years or so? It's a lot of years. So 25 of his alleged children came forward because, there were some goods which needed to be shared. So because of the ongoing disputes, the Ugandan government decided to chip in and assist to try to get what do they call it? To try to get a resolution. So they say for the first time, the best was to exhume his remains and try to do a DNA test and try to match it with all the people were claiming to be his biological children. So let me try to say. So it started off as 20 individuals, but as for today, there were 25. But when this all started, there happened to be 20. So in 2021, High Court blocked the request to exhume his remains. So only on 1 June of this month, which is June 2026, did they allow did the High Court allow them to exhume his remains. So this is what led to this, and it was done at a police station. It seems like the police and the authorities were just tired of this story. It was sounding like a Marvin Gaye. If you are familiar with the Marvin Gaye family, they always have issues. So this is the story. So this is today. This is 2 days ago, when what do they call it? When the results came from the lab after they done DNA, they exhumed his bones and tried and did a DNA with all 25. From 20, they were now 25. So let's get into it.
Were collected from 25 claimants. Blood and saliva samples were analyzed by specialists from the Police Forensic Directorate and the Government Analytical Laboratory, with participants first briefed on the scientific process.
kale omwana wabeera 15 nga taata ali 14 ayina kubeera 14.
Ye bwe nakugamba nti ndiva ku mwenge guno ndisigala ng'okunywanga.
The event attracted claimants and their mothers, Kafero's longtime friends including Benon Chibuk and Charles James Senkubuge, family members and Minister Baramba Rugahara. Speakers called for unity as the family awaited the outcome, while the minister urged men to embrace DNA testing where necessary to avoid.
You know that it's a serious matter even when the ministers are involved. When ministers are involved, it shows you the depth. It shows you the depth of, like the depth. This is a very deep story. So, yeah.
Prolonged disputes.
So I'm appealing to you, if you are not sure of the child you are holding, please do a DNA so that you save us from exhuming and removing the remains.
Kati message nze gyendaba eri meenera abasajja abalala kikimwe kye mulowooza.
Tujemu bana.
Police forensic experts then announced the results, confirming that only 4 of the 25 individuals tested were biologically related to Kafero.
Our list is Kafero Simon Peter,
Kafero Simon Peter Jangu.
Kafero Thomas.
The announcement sparked emotion scenes, with many shocked that only 4 names appeared on the list, excluding several individuals long believed to be Kafero's children, including some who bore a remarkable physical resemblance to the late singer.
Look, if you had to look at this guy and that other guy from the other frame, they like resemble Kafero himself. But again, you cannot base on that, you know. DNA rarely lies. It never lies unless something went on. But a lot of people were doubting it. A lot of people. But however, if you had to go around, definitely, if you look at my face, there are people who look like me. They're like kids out there who might look like me, but they are not mine. You understand? So we cannot base merely, like, we cannot say just because they look like him, they are his kids. Like, everyone is people that look like him, but they are not related. That's how the world is. And the painful thing now is their mothers now, only 4 children were his out of 25. So meaning the other 21, they will have to, today they will have to go and sit with their mothers and say, Mama, tell me the truth. Because what happens was, this man was very popular. I was checking his discography. He was very popular. So when you are popular, fame and women and being given kids, and you know, it's a normal thing. But we are glad that it came out like this. So they will just have to go and talk to their mother. No wonder why most people say DNA must be mandatory. It must be done as soon as the child is born. Because they will be trying to avoid such things. Because look now, these are not even young men anymore. Some of them are well in their 40s. Only to be told today, after the remains have been exhumed, that it's not your father. You know, so only 4. So imagine, some of them were vocal, yet it was not even their father. Now they have to go and look for their actual father. Damn. Imagine you were vocal. You were so vocal during the time, like demanding more from the late Kafero's estate, only to realize he's not your father. So I really don't doubt much this DNA. I really don't. Because women have a tendency of just, you know, pushing their children to, how do I say it? To some of these popular guys, even if they know sometimes that it's not their father. These guys just have to go and talk to their mother. I don't know. But this is quite a shock. It's not the first time. I once saw another guy. He was in a polygamous marriage. He did a DNA only to realize that all the two children, one from the first wife, one from the second wife, were not his. And he was boasting that he was polygamous, that I'm a man, and only to find out that none of the children were his. This is not a new thing. This is not a new... Paternity fraud is a thing. We know it. So it's just something else. They just have to go and... despite resembling, they just have to go and look and ask their mother, Mama, who is our actual father? The mothers will tell them if they are honest. But, this is something else. So yeah, let's...
Strongly support the proposition that the late Paul Job Kafelo is the biological father of Nagawa Elizabeth Kafelo Ben.
Nagawa Elizabeth.
Minister Barambarugahala appealed for calm, saying the scientific process was necessary to help settle a dispute that has persisted for years.
That is a very bad thing that we shouldn't have done. But because we have been fighting over the last so many years, 19 years fighting over who's my father, so and so is my father, I felt as government, we needed to give you a hand.
For many, the results were difficult to accept. Some...
You see how the camera keeps going, panning into this guy. It keeps panning and zooming into this guy, the camera, because this guy sort of resembles the late Paul Kafero. He resembles him so much, but it's not his kid. It happens. It's not his kid. It happens. People resemble each other, but he just has to go to his mother and try to ask. Some were saying that, they don't trust anything to do with the Ugandan government. They say maybe they did the thing they do during elections, like rigging. But there might be no rigging. I doubt if there is any rigging. And the minister is properly saying that he intervened, because there was definitely going to be blood. Because when people are arguing for 19 years, the end game is there will be blood. They might end up unaliving each other over this. And imagine being unalived by someone who's not even your biological brother, because your father didn't do a DNA test. So I'm very thankful for the Ugandan government, because when things get to this point, what's there to argue now? What is there to argue when it's just there in the open? There's nothing to argue here. Everything is straightforward. There's nothing to argue.
Rejected the findings, insisting they were inaccurate, while others vowed not to leave Kafero's ancestral home.
Bambodde kati mu baana ba Kafeero kweri kijja kityo okumwefaananyiza ne ngamba nti Kafeero yanzaala. Ngenda Masaabe waka.
Senga bana bazuuliddwa nti no baana ba Kafeero.
No, you can't keep on staying there. It's not your family. Just find a way to talk to your mother. If she's not there anymore, talk to your siblings. They know your father. They definitely know your father. I know. Unless it's a different case, unless if it was sort of too much hidden, like if it was like clandestine, but there's a family member who knows your actual father. Usually, they know, because you can't stay in the ancestral land. Those are not your ancestors who are on that land. You have to go to your family. So, I really feel, I feel for people, especially because it's not their fault. None of these children it's their fault. It's their mothers who told them that was their father. Or is Mr. Kafero himself who said, "Nah, this is my child. This is my child." It happens. But DNA is saying something else. DNA is saying a completely different story. Hey, this is something else.
Those confirmed as Kafero's biological children are Kafero Benedicto, Kafero Simon Peter, Kafero Thomas, also known as Swaz, and Nagawa Elizabeth. Lawyer Joseph Luzige said the next course of action now lies with the courts, while some of Kafero's close associates maintained that the four confirmed individuals were the children he often referred to in his music.
It was a scientific exercise, so we accept what has come.
Oh, again, the four children who came out now who became his biological children. They're even referencing it, saying that these were the children he would usually sing in his songs. So I don't know. So maybe he knew that. So maybe that's the 4 he was sure of. Yay, 25 different women. And we are still wondering why the honorable guy died at a young age. Bro was chowing them front and rear. Left and right, bro, meant business. Damn. But anyway, I don't know what you think. I don't know what you think, but paternity fraud is a thing. It is a thing, paternity fraud. It is a thing. So, sometimes people would want to take advantage because maybe there are things to be shared and so on, but this is him. Yeah, this is him. Kind of sort of looks similar to that other guy whom they were panning to. So he looks similar to that guy. There are these two guys they were panning into. He kind of looks similar. But again, people look similar. We are all black people after all. We are black people, man. We are black people. It does happen. I don't know. Just you can put your comment in the comment section and tell me what you think. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.